Now, when I used to work at PwC, I was working in a department called transfer pricing, and of course, the primary requirement over there was that people were CAs. Now, I was an exception who had completed ACCA. There was another exception of somebody who had completed CPA. And a fun fact was that we saw that one of the managers, somebody at a higher level, was not a chartered. He was just an MBA. But the reason that he was promoted was because he had actually onboarded a couple of clients, which essentially would mean revenue for PwC to grow its brand. So an MBA who might not have been technically a CA, but onboarded a client, was still given as much, if not more, respect or value to that of a CA. Now, the point of this story is that whether you're a CA, an ACCA, a CPA, or an MBA, there is always a way for us to make our way into the real world. And in this video, we're going to talk about the difference between CPA and MBA. So first of all, the basic understanding, CPA is the US CA. If you want to go specifically to the US, it is what Indian CA is to India. So it's very recognized, obviously, over there. B, if you want to stay in India, a lot of companies are recognizing and hiring CPAs from the big four to brands like Apple, Amazon, and the ones which are US brands. Lastly, as a CPA, you can work in any capacity that you want, because to understand an organization or a business, CPA teaches you enough about finance and accounts. So productivity-wise, value-wise, CPA is awesome, like the US CPA. When it comes to MBA, in all my videos, I'm going to say it again, when I talk about MBA, I mean from the top 20 MBA institutions. Anything below that, don't do it. Right. So whatever I'm going to refer to, international or Indian, are the top 20 MBA institutes. Now, when you get into MBA, the primary reason you get into it is not because you were a BCom student and you said, okay, my whole life, I'm going to wait for MBA, do it, and then my life will start. The primary reason you do MBA is to make sure that it's a stepping stone. You do something to get to the next level after doing an MBA. So MBA is all about, most of the time, it focuses on a specialization like MBA in finance, but it surrounds you with other business aspects like operations, like HR, like marketing, along with finance. So if you do CPA, you become a professional qualified accountant. If you do MBA, you become basically more of a business, it's more of a business profile. Now, please understand that that does not mean you cannot swap, but in this topic, I want to talk about that. Now, so this is the details of, or rather more of a basic of what each of them mean. If this is already answering your question, awesome. Let's go to the next part. When it comes to who has to do what, CPA, first of all, the eligibility is very tight. So either you have to be a CA or you have to be a graduate with 4 years of experience, which means 3 years of BCom most likely and 1 year of MCom or something on those lines. Or for that matter, you can do MBA and then CPA. So all of these work as long as you have 12 plus 4 years of education for your CPA. MBA, we all know, as long as you're a graduate, you can apply for MBA. When it comes to the academic structure, right, CPA covers everything in finance and accounting for the US side of the world. Right, a lot of it is conceptual. So things like financial management, business management, all of these things you'll learn in CPA, which you can apply everywhere. But otherwise, you'll specifically learn US accounting standards, US taxation. MBA, if you do MBA in finance, you're looking at how to run an organization from more or less the CFO's point of view. So it's not exactly everything to do with finance and accounts, but it's primarily about that, but it also involves other aspects of business. This is what is covered in MBA. CPA, you can finish in up to a year. MBA, more or less between 1 to 2 years, depending on where you do your MBA. In terms of difficulty, CPA is a difficult exam, but genuinely, if you put in the effort, people are really managing it well. MBA, it's actually more difficult to get in than to pass once you're in, right? Because either you have to score very high on your CAT, your GMAT, your GRE, and the fees is decently high compared to CPA. But once you're in the MBA course, it's more or less you're going to hopefully have a smooth sailing after that, right? Coming to the scope, right? CPA, like I already mentioned, it works in most companies which are recognizing CPA in India and across the world because CPA has global brand value. MBA, on the other hand, is a little different. MBA is much more about, first of all, you want to work in a startup, you want to work in a big company, you want to work in the big four. Also, MBA's huge advantage is the networking effect, right? If you're in the top 20 institutes, you're going to be coming across hopefully the best and the brightest of your batch. People have told me that 20, 30 years after they passed out of their MBA institution, they still rely on the network or the cohort of people who were in their batch, because most of them go on to do really well in life. Most of them become successful. Most of them are in a position of power. Today, just think about it. 5 years, 10 years down the line, right? You have the ability to pick up and you can reach out to probably almost all the big brands you think about. Somewhere high in the hierarchy, you will have people who you grew up and studied with. That creates a super powerful bond, and that's how your scope in MBA increases. Now, CPA also has this networking effect. It's just that MBA is a little tight because it's that 2 years of studying in that one batch. And accordingly, there is a larger sort of cult following, a loyalty within that batch. Lastly, when it comes to the fee structure, CPA, I would say between 4 to 5 lakhs, maybe 6 lakhs total, because now there are centers in India. Earlier, there were centers only in US or Dubai, but the fees in India are a little higher when it comes to the exam. So net 4 to 5, maybe take a 6 lakh, no, take 5 lakhs approximately to complete CPA in a year. MBA, it can range anywhere from 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs. And if you go to, let's say, US or UK, it can go up to a CR. So yeah, ROI wise, of course, I would say CPA, but MBA, if you do it from the right institute, you put in for next few years of working, let's say you go abroad, right? Most people will work abroad for a few years and then come to India if they wish, or they stay there. Either which way, after you work for a few years overseas, you start sort of recouping your actual investment in MBA if you spend so much. If you talk about simple IIMs, the investment is absolutely worth it because like CPA, you sort of make up for it in the first couple of years. Lastly, if you're looking at MBA plus CPA, that's as always an amazing opportunity, but do not decide to do it upfront. You make sure you do one of them first, and then hopefully in your career, there will be a reason to do the other, which will enhance your career rather than collecting a degree and hoping that this will actually pay off. So if you do that, then a combination of CPA plus MBA is as powerful as a CA plus MBA or an ACCA plus MBA. So with that, I hope that we covered all the details. If I've missed anything, let me know. And as always, subscribe and leave us a like.